First time?
Of course it is!
Alright everybody, I am Kevin from The Real Movie Guys, and you are watching The Real Review, a series where we review and discuss all your favorite movies. And don't forget, if you like what you see and you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel today. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Pixar Studios' Luca. Set in a beautiful seaside town on the Italian Riviera, the original anime feature is a coming-of-age story about one young boy experiencing an unforgettable summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. Luca shares these adventures with his newfound best friend, but all the fun is threatened by a deeply held secret. He is a sea monster from another world just below the water's surface. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what to think going into this movie. I feel like this movie was kind of swept under the rug by Disney, barely promoted maybe because of it making its debut on the Disney Plus streaming service. The few trailers I even saw of this film felt very lackluster, feeling just overall generic and lacking that typical Pixar excitement. It's a shame because Luca might be just one of my favorite Pixar releases in recent years, showcasing absolutely beautiful animation that takes chances and is supported by an incredibly relaxing and fun coming-of-age story that feels like a new summer classic. Beautiful art direction and animation is nothing new for Pixar. It's something that's become expected at this point. The setting can be photorealistic at times, especially the gorgeous renderings of Porto Rosso. This small port fishing town captures the beauty and culture of Italy to the point that it feels like you're there. Every inch feels like it has life and age. The environmental setting never ceases to amaze me as well. I could spend hours watching the water from the ocean gently glide across the pebble beaches. The lighting also falls under this, adding incredible depth and emotion to every scene. Whether it's on land or in the middle of the ocean, the lighting at play can make you feel more emotion than any dialogue this film attempts to do. It may be strange to say, but this movie just has a mood about it. It captures that summer story warmth that I remember feeling in my childhood. Movies like The Sandlot and The Goonies do this well to a similar degree, using their setting as an enhancement to propel the coming-of-age tale, making what may be construed as a generic or meandering story more memorable. The whole gimmick of this movie, if you will, is that sea monsters shapeshift to humans when dry and back into sea monsters when splashed with water. The way this film showcases such a simple concept in so many different ways is sheer brilliance. They can use this transformation as a slow, beautiful effect, showcasing just how magical this change can be. There's a scene where the boys are just cruising along the ocean, jumping in and out of the water that is a sight to behold when you think about the technological advancements and skill it must have taken for this scene to come to life. They use it often for comedic effect when one of the boys is hit with water, causing some funny situational humor. Instead of just having their whole body change when touched with water, I like how the creators went for a more revealing transformation that slowly strips away the skin and reveals the sea monster below. While all this is incredibly beautiful, this movie does something I never expected from Pixar and uses a unique blend of art direction that is, in my opinion, even more impressive than the beautiful visuals. The character models in this movie strongly remind me of the stop-motion works of Nick Park, famous for his work on the Wallace and Gromit franchise. Every time the character Alberto smiled, you can't tell me that he isn't reminiscent of Park's trademark style. The character designs are all simple and to the point, but are able to evoke so much emotion compared to previous Pixar works. That's not to say that previous films don't stand out, but this film's characters feel just uniquely distinct on their own, being cartoony in nature, but don't feel out of place in this realistic world. That may also have to do with the strong influence from the films of Hayao Miyazaki. First-time director Enrico Casarosa has stated in many interviews that when developing this film, he looked to the founder of Studio Ghibli as an inspiration, and it's extremely evident in the style and the way the story is told. The way the film establishes its environmental setting by having long shots of scenery are a trademark of Studio Ghibli. The technique helps establish the tone and previously mentioned mood this film is going for. It makes sense for Luca to try and emulate the stylings of Miyazaki. The coming-of-age tale is extremely common in his work. Miyazaki films always excel at representing life through magical means, while also having the aesthetic to be relatable to a younger and older audience, similar to Pixar Studios in many ways. The obvious references to 1992's Porco Rosso and 1989's Kiki Delivery Service aside, the warmth, nostalgia, comedy, and action set pieces are all perfectly working in unison, while not losing the meaning behind a strong emotional message this film is trying to portray. Extremely experimental for Pixar is also the inclusion of a Wes Anderson style of filmmaking. Throughout the film, Luca has these abstract, dreamlike sequences that help to visualize an emotion he is going through, attempting to capitalize on the Wes Anderson quirky show and don't tell method. I can foresee some people making the argument that Luca can feel like it's just spinning its wheel at times, but even though it may not be apparent, these nonsensical moments add so much depth to the characters. Like a Wes Anderson film, these small moments add dimension and character development in a quirky way. One example would be one of the earlier sequences of Luca and Alberto just having fun on the island. Through these interactions, we learn so much about each of their personalities while also helping the audience establish a bond that feels natural. Symmetry in cinematography, color palette expression, and music choices are all crucial trademarks of Anderson, and again are utilized masterfully to convey the warm and engaging feeling this movie is going for. All this talk about style and tone would be for nothing if the characters didn't work, but I'm very happy to say that besides a surprisingly weak villain, I loved all these characters. Jacob Tremblay voicing Luca and Jack Dylan Grazer voicing Alberto have an automatic believable chemistry together. You feel their bond in their performance, whether it's Lucas's naive and inquisitive nature or Alberto's brazen and laid-back attitude. Both characters work incredibly well. Emma Berman should also receive praise in her role as Julia Marcavaldo. Her interactions with the boys are sincere and genuinely funny, making her a great character for these boys to work off of. This trio really struggles with serious issues of identity and acceptance in their own individual way, but it never beats you over the head with a message. Many viewers may find the message to be particularly relatable to those in the LGBTQ+ community, which I think is a plausible comparison. Overall though, I think this film just speaks volumes to friendship and to anyone that has a hard time finding out what they want out of life and coming to terms with who they are. The parents in this film also bring the laughs as well. You have comedians Jim Gaffigan and Maya Rudolph playing Luca's parents. Their comical search for Luca throughout the port town brings a lot of laughs as they try and figure out which boy in the town is their son. The only character that I really felt was underdeveloped and a bit too cliche for my taste was the villain, the town bully Ercole Visconti, voiced by Saverio Raimondo. He just never felt very integral or necessary to the story that was being told here. I understand needing a villain like the character to facilitate some form of conflict, but I think the story worked as a whole without needing this character, who really was just there to be a more direct and tangible example of someone for the protagonist trio to tangle with. You may have noticed by this point that I haven't discussed much about the story, and that's due to it being largely unoriginal. I will sing the praises of this movie as loud as I can, but when you boil it all down, the story is something you have all heard before. The literal fish out of water concept has been done before by so many different animated films, including Pixar's very home of Disney. This film does try to dress up this overdone story to a point, which I do think is largely successful, but people keen to it will see all the common trappings coming a mile away. I don't think it ruins the movie by any means, and the importance of a main narrative can be seen as secondary next to the characters' journeys, but with everything else being so aesthetically pleasing and creative in the art direction, it's a wonder why the film didn't follow through on the story part. Themes and messages are powerful things, but with a stronger story, that can make everything feel that much more impactful. Once the credits began rolling at the end, I do feel that the film was incredibly successful in what it wanted to do, telling the summer tale of two boys that changed their lives forever. While maybe not being the most original tale, I will say their journey was incredibly memorable and enjoyable. The beautiful blend of so many cinematic elements left me with such a compelling nostalgic feeling while moving me with its incredible poignant themes. Luca may be a story about sea monsters discovering their humanity, but it is also a remarkable tale of what it means to be human and how we connect with one another, which leads me to my final score. I'm going to give Luca an A.
Don't move, don't move!
He's dead. I killed him. Wait, that was good?
Did you see the height I got? Hey, nice ramping. Come on, let's build another one.
This film should not be missed. Out of all the movies that have been released during the COVID era of films, this is one I do feel suffered the most. A theatrical release would have really just been an exclamation point on an already superbly visualized journey. This film may be a fish out of water story, but I assure you, this tale of two sea monsters and their summer adventure will fit right in with any family movie night. Do yourself a favor, dry off from lounging in the pool, cook up a large bowl of pasta, cuddle up on the couch with your favorite person, and check out this movie right away. If you guys like what you've seen here today, consider giving this video a like and leaving your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay up to date with everything Real Movie Guys related, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget, all you audio listeners at home, we are available on many podcasting platforms. Just search The Real Movie Guys, you should pop right up. Thank you again all so much for joining us on this episode of The Real Review. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. Catch you next time.